Hey everyone, Connie here. With a video I initially wasn't going to make, but I decided it's the kind of thing I need to talk about, and I've talked about this kind of stuff on the channel before, unfortunately. But just with all the recent stuff about it on Twitter and everything, especially, and just social media in general, um, I feel the need to at least discuss it here. So I'm making this quick video before, basically as quickly as I can before my father gets home. But so if you've been on YouTube for a while and you pay attention to the gaming scene on YouTube, you might know of a YouTuber named ProJared. Um, I have known about ProJared for years and years, but only in the past year have actually started watching his content and mostly his Let's Play stuff. Um, and I enjoyed his stuff very much. He's a really good Let's Player. He's a good reviewer, and he has fun with his content. Um, and the little bit of banter that can go on between him and Miss Editor has always been really entertaining. Um, but recently, it has been revealed that he had been cheating on his wife, and not only that, but it also came to light that apparently he has been grooming underage girls, which basically amounts to minor sexual assault. He has apparently been asking underage girls for nudes and receiving them. He has been sending nudes and all kinds of other shit. And again, I enjoy his content. He is a good Let's Player. He is a good game reviewer. But earlier today, I went and unsubscribed from his channels because I'm not going to support in any way someone like that. And the same kind of thing happened with Vic Mignogna in the recent months and stuff. When it was made a big deal out of after, people had been talking about it for decades, where Vic Mignogna had been revealed to be a sexual assaulter. And although his crimes are definitely worse, that doesn't make ProJared's crimes any less terrible. And it's not even a matter about comparing them. Because the point here is that Jared did some horrible things. Infidelity alone is terrible, but the fact that we find out that he's been grooming underage girls and stuff, that they've been sharing back and forth nude pictures and stuff, that's not okay for a shit ton of reasons. And just like, and I want to bring up again that he's a really good content creator, and that admittedly skewed my perception when I first read about this story like yesterday. Because I didn't want to believe it. I wanted to side with him. That was my initial instinct. But then I remembered having done the same thing, having felt the same things for Vic Mignogna at first. How I wanted to support and side with him because he was always been one of my favorite voice actors, because he's good at voice acting, because of having met him and everything. But when I really started to think about it, when I really started to look at the evidence, and when I really started to even remember the times when I have met him, I could not deny it with Vic anymore, and I had to speak out against it. Basically, I had to side with the Kick Vic group. And ever since I've unfollowed people and channels and stuff that have sided with Vic, including ones I have followed for years and years and years. And now this entire thing's come. And it's kind of the same thing over again. Again, not quite the same crime, but still terrible. And it's still something I need to speak out against. Even though I didn't want to believe it, I didn't want to think it was as bad at first, I cannot deny it anymore. I cannot subscribe to him. I cannot follow him on Twitter. I cannot support someone who would do shit like that. And I can't support people who would support someone like that in this situation. And plenty of his friends have come forth and spoken out against him. They've cut ties with him. The completionist, uh, normal boots have come out against him. Even Peanut Butter Gamer, who tried at first to support him, has even acknowledged that he was wrong in doing so and has flipped on that. And I know this isn't normally the kind of video I make, and I know I don't talk about this stuff a lot, but again, I watch gaming content a lot on YouTube. It is one of my favorite kinds of YouTube content, along with blind reactions and whatnot. And I've always loved seeing Let's Players like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye and Christopher Odd, Tetra Ninja, Giancarlo Paramongo 11, stuff like that. And ProJared was one of the more recent ones, admittedly. I had more recently gotten into his stuff. Same with Jesse Cox, even though both of them had been on the platform and even had been just doing videos and stuff online for even longer than that. Like ProJared, I believe, started off with Screw Attack before YouTube even existed. And Jesse Cox, I know, was doing stuff before YouTube as well. And I more recently got into their stuff, and I've been enjoying their Let's Plays and their other videos and stuff. But when this kind of stuff happens, I have to take a step back and I have to look at the situation. And I've looked at the situation. I didn't make this decision right away. Again, I heard about this yesterday, and I've only just today unfollowed his social media and stuff. And really come to speak out against it. Because, again, I wanted to look at all the stuff before I really did anything. I wanted to make sure of it. And I did. I watched videos about it. I scoured social media. And it's just something I unfortunately can't deny anymore. And I even saw ProJared's statement on it on his Twitter, and it was the most generic, blatantly false statements you can give, basically. It was so by the numbers, it's not funny. Everything about it just screamed red flag. And it's just like, it was so disingenuous. There was no legitimacy to what he was saying. It's not even, it's not even funny how bad it was. And it's not like it was bad in a way to where it's obvious he was lying, or it was like a backhanded thing. And no, it wasn't him like trying to blame anyone else, but it was so generically written. It almost feels like he copied and pasted it from someone else who had gone through this. And I hate it anytime someone who I do look up to, anytime this happens to someone I look up to, someone, or even just someone I enjoy watching the content of. Whenever this kind of thing happens, it bothers me. It angers me. It angered me with Kevin Spacey because he's such a phenomenal actor. And it angered me with Johnny Depp when that was first a thing. And then it angered me even more when that was proven to actually be false and it was actually Amber Heard who was the bad guy in all of that. That really pissed me off, especially because of how Johnny was treated by everyone, even myself to a point. When all of that was when he was believed to be the bad guy in the relationship. And it angered me with Vic Mignogna, and it angers me with ProJared. Because to see anyone like this that I look up to, that I enjoy the content of to this degree, and I think it especially hits me with people like Vic and Jared, because because of him being a Christian and all, and it always hits me hard to see Christians who do such horrible things like that. As a Christian myself, and with Jared, the reason it hit me hard with him was because of a very specific video series he did. He did a couple videos on this game called Super Seducer, which is a horribly sexist and disgusting game made by a guy who basically calls himself basically on the level of a love guru. He acts like he can get you any girl you want if you just follow his advice, and his advice is horribly sexist and treats women as property, and treats women as if they have to have a certain look to even be worth shit, and it's absolutely disgusting. And in that video series, Jared was shown to be excessively uncomfortable with what was being said and what was being presented by this guy in his game. And he actually spoke out actively against it in the videos, in the Let's Plays of the game. And obviously Miss Editor did as well. And I was really hooked onto him when I saw those videos, because I had the same feelings towards that game as he was having. And then to find out that for months now he's been cheating on his wife with someone else, to find out that he's been doing this other shit, and apparently this has gone back for years now, like to 2016 even. I don't know if anything past that, earlier than that, but I know 2016 for sure, because there are specifically stuff coming out from that time and all, in all of this. And so yeah, it hit hard to know that someone who I actually kind of did look up to because of his thoughts on all of that could be someone like this. And this doesn't mean that I'm going to stop looking up to people, and it doesn't mean that I'm going to be even extra super cautious about everyone I watch. But it's becoming more and more apparent in this current day and age, where this kind of stuff is actually being given the kind of attention and focus it needs to be. It's very apparent that I can't just let stuff like this go anymore. No matter who it ends up being. No matter how much I look up to them. I can't let this stuff go, and I can't like try to deny it and hold back. I have to speak out against it. And I've talked about before how I've been sexually assaulted. How I've faced that. I've talked about before how I have friends who have been victims of that. And I have friends that I probably don't even know have been victims of that. And it's disgusting every time. And I've known people who have been cheated on, whether in a marriage or in terms of a just romantic relationship. And I admittedly have only been in one relationship in my life, one romantic relationship. And it was, I barely even call it a relationship because it was, again, only one date, as I've talked about before. But I can imagine the amount of pain I would be in if that kind of thing ever happened to me, especially with how seriously I take love and how emotional I tend to be. Like, honestly, I would probably break down in the worst kind of way if that kind of shit ever happened to me. And as I'm saying this, I don't want anyone to be insulting Jared or to be making fun of him because I've seen a lot of that on social media. A lot of people like making jokes and memes about him and just basically making light of the entire situation. That doesn't fucking help anything. If you want this to be taken seriously and if you want people to be able to speak up and for this to end up stopping in the future, or at least getting lesser and lesser as time goes on, if you want things to get better with this kind of shit, you have to take it seriously. You have to treat it as if it's a serious thing. Because if you treat it like a joke, no one's going to learn anything. People are going to think that they can just do shit and people won't take it seriously and nothing is going to happen. So don't make light of this. Don't make it a joke. Don't make it a meme. And even on top of that, when you're doing that, like when you're like all these people who are like comparing Jared's appearance and um also the girl he cheated on his wife with, her appearance as well, people who are comparing them to like standardly, stereotypically ugly fictional characters, you're not doing anything of value here. In fact, you're actually being kind of disgusting yourself. Insulting a person based on their appearance is disgusting. No matter if they're a bad person or not. Yes, speak out against them. Yes, show that you have contempt for what they did. But don't make fun of their appearance. That's just petty as fuck. The point is, treat this seriously. Act like this is something to be taken seriously, and it will be. And we can make sure that this kind of shit stops happening. Or again, happens less. Because let's be honest, unfortunately, this kind of shit won't stop happening. It's terrible, but people are pretty terrible. Let's be honest. Humanity sucks. And this kind of shit's going to keep happening, and worse shit is going to keep happening. But if we take it seriously, more people are going to be able and willing to speak up. If we take it seriously, more people will take it seriously, and it will be seen as a bigger deal. But either way, I did just, this video has been a lot longer than I thought it would be, but I needed to say this because I couldn't just, I couldn't just not say anything. And I'll say it right now. If this kind of thing ever happened with some of the biggest YouTubers I watch, some of my favorites like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Christopher Odd, again to name gamers, or uh, reactors like whoever. If anything happened with one of them, I would do the same thing. I would speak out against them. I would acknowledge how terrible and evil their acts were, and I would stop supporting and watching their content. And for now, I think I'm going to end it here because I'm honestly starting to get irritated. And again, my dad's going to be home soon, so I probably need to end it. Um, But yeah, I want to make this video to just basically explain my thoughts and feelings on this. And I hope that you guys understand where I'm coming from here and that we can just kind of move on from this. And while taking this very seriously and making sure people know about it and everything, we can move on and focus on better things and better people. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.